Hey everybody, it's the Cannon Cruisers. I'm JD, and this is Randy.
I'm Randy.
That's who it is. Today we're talking about a film, a comedy.
A comedy? Question mark?
Or drama, romance, however you want to categorize
Dramedy?
it. I don't know. Called Making the Grade, starring Judd Nelson.
Judd Nelson of Brat Pack fame.
From 1984.
So the film is about Palmer Woodrow, but it isn't. But it isn't. So basic plot of this is a basic Prince and the Pauper sort of setup, where Judd Nelson playing Eddie Keaton is running away from his loan shark when he stumbles upon one Palmer Woodrow, who a trust fund baby. Would you call him that? I think we would call him that, right?
I think you could call him that.
Who doesn't want to actually go to school, but still wants to gain his money, so he hires Eddie to attend school in his place.
Yes.
And wackiness ensues.
That's the plot, pretty much. His bookies come back to get him later, and it's what you would expect in that type of a situation.
So, as we were saying, it's like the principal characters in the film. We have Eddie Keaton, played by Judd Nelson, Brat Pack fame, yada yada. We have Palmer Woodrow, played by Dana Olson.
More of a writer than an actor.
Yeah, more of a screenwriter than an actor. You have their friend, who basically becomes Judd Nelson's friend, Carrie Scott playing Rand. His enemy, Biff, played by Scott McGinnis, and you don't forget, Dice, the Dice Man. Hey!
That's the Dice Man himself, Andrew
Dice Clay. Yeah.
His first appearance of the Dice Man character.
Yeah. And featuring, it's not a cameo, but featuring a name everybody might know in certain circles, one Dan Schneider as Blimp, the quote-unquote fat man comedy relief.
And we'll leave him there.
And that's all we have to say about Dan Schneider.
Yes. In fact, we'll go straight into the trailer for this film.
He's Palmer Woodrow III.
Gosh! Darn it!
And he's going to lose his inheritance.
You will actually have to get a job.
Unless he graduates from Hoover Prep.
Hey, you know something? Nobody at that school knows what I look like. Pay some guy, what, $500-600 a month and a bonus to graduate?
Where do you propose to find the idiot to do this?
This is Eddie Keaton.
How we doing?
Street kid.
What do you say, Eddie?
Drop out.
Break his legs. And then get me some pizza, okay?
And we're back.
All right, Randy. I think you want to go first on this, so let's go general impressions.
We're through the looking glass here, people. This was the Ben-Hur of comedies. And I say this meaning it was long and
movie.
Dull. Not that
long
Ben-Hur is dull. It's just, but this is a very long movie.
For a comedy, it's way too long.
The movie clocks in at 104 minutes, and you feel every one of those minutes.
It needed a bit more.
It's like there wasn't enough of a laugh per minute type of quota that you would have in most comedies. It wasn't wacky enough. It had some funny moments here and there, but
it was between comedy and dramedy, really.
Yeah, it very much near the end started going, we're exploring class issue and identities. I had some laughs here and there, but I didn't like this movie.
I don't know. I'd say as a whole, I enjoyed it, but I'm not going to say it was particularly good or anything.
As a comedy, it's incredibly weak.
Yeah.
It kind of did that thing that previous watch of Last American Virgin did, where it takes itself way too seriously after a point.
Oh, it was better than that.
Oh, it's better than that.
It's not,
but
even
it's still
question.
A bad movie.
I don't know if I'd call it a particularly bad movie. I think I'd just call it an average movie because it doesn't really do anything spectacular.
Well, let's the audience do the talking. When the sequel, yes, we're jumping all the way to the end now, people. The end of the movie ends with a tease for a sequel. Palmer and Eddie will return in Turistas. The movie was never made because there was no audience for it. The writer couldn't write a script for it, and nobody cared.
Well, that's also canon. If you look into canon's past, they always promised so many sequels that they never delivered
It's just a bad movie.
Oh, well, then, tell us your highlights of the film.
You go first, and I'll have to think on it.
Well, like I said, I enjoyed Judd Nelson's performance. I thought he did a good job.
He did a good job with what he was given, which wasn't a lot.
No, he was a lot like his character from that movie,
Breakfast Club.
The Breakfast Club, only not as much of a jerk. He was actually more of a fun-loving guy than that guy was. And he was a lot more sympathetic than the other guy was.
Yeah,
too.
I like that part, but that's not my highlight of the film. I'm trying to think of the joke. There's a very... It's going to sound like a really weird thing to say was a highlight of the film, but there's an early scene after he comes in dressed up in this red zoot suit on his first day of school, thinking that that's how high-class people dress. And then he is taught what it means to be a preppy. And for some reason, that scene is probably one of the more funnier scenes. It's like, this is a preppy. This is not a preppy. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that I think was a highlight of the comedy of the movie.
I think it would stand to be in that vein more often, honestly.
Yeah, the movie needed more moments like that. But that was one of my highlights of the film. There's also another, honestly, kind of a... That throwaway line is like, hey, this is... Oh, yeah, there's another character by the name of Muffy who's Palmer's girlfriend. I don't know what her actress's name is, but at the end of the movie, when everything wraps up, he goes, yeah, hey, this is Muffy, my favorite woman in the world. And they reply, she's a gold digger. He's like, it's good, then we can then I have somebody to talk to. I kind of found that kind of funny. Mm-hmm. But the sex comedy aspect that wasn't really there, but wasn't very funny. It wasn't in your face. It was just it.
I'm honestly glad that wasn't there.
Yeah, no, this movie didn't know what it wanted to be.
And actually, that'll go right into the lowlights.
The lowlights.
That is my lowlight is the tone.
The tone of the film didn't know what it wanted to be. I agree with you.
And the problem I had with that is when it was trying to focus on being a comedy, I enjoyed it. When it was trying to focus just on being a drama, I found it, but they didn't mix, and that was the biggest problem.
Yeah, and the whole
You're waiting for one thing to be dramatic and it's funny, and you're waiting for something to be funny and it's dramatic when it's not supposed to.
And the last 7 hours of the film was a drama.
Oh yeah,
for some reason.
Yes, the length was the other problem. The film should have been edited more than it was because there wasn't enough plot for it to be as long as
no, it actually has a decent it's another well-worn plot, but it's a decent okay, kind of a scumbag loser comes in and actually does better himself, betters the people around him, and he learns something along the way.
But it could have been condensed down a little more. I think they could have cut it at least 20 minutes out of it.
Like I said, it's if you think about it, you break it down to its parts. It's like Judd Nelson. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was good. He did a fine job. Dana Olson. Oh God, terrible human being. His character. Yes. So I guess he did his job because we're supposed to be repulsed by him. Tracy Hoover, played by John Lee, she was the fine, generic, rich girl who doesn't think people understand her. She was, like I said, everything, you break it down to parts, it's you break down the plot, you break down this, it's okay, it's fine, but it never comes together. The low light, it's the tone. The film doesn't know what it wants. Mm-hmm. The film doesn't go full into the screwball comedy aspect of it.
It needed more focus.
Yeah, that's it. The pace of it was shot off by that. But we say it needs to be cut down more, but where would you cut down? Because then you start losing some of the jokes. The one with the horse, that's a kind of a funny joke that would have been cut out.
To be cut down as in pacing could have been faster. If you would have had less dead space, you probably would have been able to make everything flow better. So when it went into drama or comedy, would have been right into it.
The antagonist, the secondary antagonist, Biff, he served no purpose, really. He was just there to be literally antagonize the main character.
Yeah, he didn't really need to be there.
What happens to him, it's just kind of dumb. Mm-hmm. It doesn't really... There's no real payoff in the movie. That's it. Also, there's no real payoff. Mm-hmm. And as I told you, the movie tries to earn a Ferris Bueller day off, fourth wall break. Mm-hmm. Tries to earn it and thinks they earned it and breaks the fourth wall at the end of the film, and it's no, this movie, you haven't done the work.
Yeah, there wasn't enough of that type of comedy for it to feel natural enough.
Speaking of comedies that have a drama element that balances it well, Ferris Bueller's Day Off. This movie is not a Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Well, Ferris Bueller didn't really have that much drama to it, just mostly near the end, mostly due to Cameron's character than anything else. And that would probably affect your score, I think, more than...
oh, yes, it's better than The Apple.
Of course it's better than The Apple.
It's better than The Last American Virgin.
Of course it's better than The Last American
Virgin.
But
I'm still giving it a 2.
That's fair, I guess.
I'm not... It's I would... This does not meet Randy's... Does not receive Randy's seal of approval for Saturday afternoon movie, Sunday afternoon movie.
If you didn't enjoy it, you didn't enjoy it.
Yeah, I didn't enjoy it. It was just... It was too blah. There was... Mm-hmm. If it was just a straight drama, okay, maybe that might work. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't. It didn't have a balance.
Yeah, that was the main problem with the movie.
The jokes were weak. Yeah, it's a 2-star movie.
Well, mine obviously is a 3. I liked it more than you, but not that much more than you. But as a whole, I liked it. I didn't love it, and I didn't think it was anything special. Maybe I'd watch again.
I don't really want to see it ever again, but it's not enough to say I absolutely hate this film. I did get some enjoyment out of it, but not enough for me to put in the effort kind of like the script, put in the effort to go that extra mile to say it's a 3.
But I'm glad
it's a 2.
I'm glad we covered it. Honestly, Canon didn't make too many more movies like this one, and that's all we really have to say about this movie. There's not a whole lot to say about comedy from 1984, unfortunately. Thank you for sticking around, folks, and we will see you next time.
I apologize that I'm Randy and that I'm always grousing.
And I'm JD, and I'm not apologizing for anything. See you later, folks.
Keep cruising that Canon catalog.